Anybody use their passion inside of their business. But when you're doing it inside of your passion and inside of your purpose, it makes it even a little bit easier. Hello. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to be here today, and just want to take a moment to take it all in, because I remember the day, and this day right here up on the slide, that I learned how to turn my passion into profit. Now, I was about 8 years old in this photo, and a couple months before that, I had let out for summer break. And so a lot of my friends and my family, they like to go to summer camp, they like to go on vacation, but for me, the excitement about my summer break was sitting next to my mother inside of her studio and making things. And so this particular summer, I remember making some jewelry, and I went every day after summer camp. I would go and I would sit next to my mom and make things over and over and over and over again. And at this art fair, anybody from Chicago? All right. So this was at Illinois Service Festival on 87th and King Drive. I set up my booth right next to my mother and sold everything, right? And this is a proud moment. You see that cocked head to the side? Y'all know what that means, right? I was so excited because I had won first prize with the young artists that were there, and I had sold everything. And it was at that moment that I realized that I knew, one, my passion, and the second thing I knew was that I can use my passion to make money, right? So does anybody out there know what their passion is? That's awesome. Anybody use their passion inside of their business? And so I really think that that's important, because business is hard, y'all. It's hard at any level, but when you're doing it inside of your passion and inside of your purpose, it makes it even just a little bit easier. All right, so I have a little bit of background for information about me. I'm co-owner of So Creative Lounge. I'm also a fashion designer, and while you all are wondering, yes, I did make this dress. And more importantly, it got pockets. If I can find it, right? The guy backstage was like, where am I gonna put this mic? I was like, put it in my pocket. But, so Lamar slides in my DM, y'all, on July 28, 2023. He said, Cecily, exclamation point, I want you to speak a game plan on how you do six-figure summits. This is the important sentence right here. I think your summits have done six figures before, right? Lots of laughs. All right, if anybody knows Lamar, y'all know what this really means. So he says, let me know if you're down. Events January 25th, 2027. I said, Lamar, doggone well I ain't made no six figures in no virtual conference or summit. Why is he asking me this? But instead, what I really knew about it is that he was planting my next goal in my head. So I had 2 months, y'all. The date was set. I had launched it already. I was like, okay, y'all, I got to get to six figures at this conference, because I knew that I had to come up here and present it to you all in January, okay? But that's not my response. Y'all see my response? Yes, I'd love to, Lamar. But technically, it's my conference that I've done six figures in. So a little bit more about So Creative Lounge. I teach sewing classes to both children and adults. We do it virtually, in person. But the biggest thing more than anything is that we teach confidence through our lessons in sewing. We teach culture. We use a lot of African print fabrics. We travel to places like Ghana with Jay. And we do a lot of things so that we're not just teaching just about sewing. It's also about the community that we built as well. And so instead of just talking about the So Much Soul conference that I have, I want to just play this little video so you all could see a little recap of what we did in September. So, y'all recognize this young lady right here? Yes. That's Miss Felicia Rashad, or Dean Felicia Rashad, as we should call her. And so Lamar has this thing of saying, think bigger, dream bigger. So I'm on a coaching call one day, and he's like, Cecily, I know you got this conference coming up. What are we going to do different? I'm like, I don't know, Lamar. What do you think we should do? He's like, well, maybe we should have a guest speaker. I was like, okay. I named a few people. He was not impressed. I went through a few more. He was not impressed. And then I was like, well, what about Felicia Rashad? And he lit up immediately. I was like, okay, I know that this is the person I need to bring into our space. And so luckily, I knew the assistant dean at Howard University, Chadwick Boseman School of Fine Arts, and I reached out to her, and I was able to get a connect. So what I'm going to do during this presentation is to talk about that moment that Lamar sent that DM to this moment that I'm doing a fireside chat with Felicia Rashad. Is that cool with y'all? All right. All right, so Much Soul is a 3-day virtual conference. We have 10 instructors, 12 classes. It's a free event with 2 upsells. One is our VIP ticket, and one is our conference kit. Woo! Congratulations! Now, the goal of this virtual conference is twofold. One is to engage our current membership, and the other is to bring in new members. And so a couple stats about our conference that happened just in September is, one, we had over 11,000 people register for this event. Thank you. Now, I thought at the beginning of 2023 that maybe virtual conferences were going away. And I was like, maybe we should start doing in-person conferences. But for some reason, I said, let me just try one more time. And this is typical for our conferences. This is our 5th time doing a conference, and the numbers are not decreasing. So if you're thinking about doing a virtual conference and you're like, COVID's over, I have to do in-person. No, there's still a lot of people out there that still want to experience what you have to offer online. So we had an average of 1,400 people that attended our conference each day. We had 805 VIP purchasers. We had $8,700 in ad spend that resulted in 61 new members into our membership program. And so I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about marketing and the magic that we pull together in order to do this. So the key components that I found during our conference that we had to really focus on in terms of marketing was, 1, our PR strategies. 2 is contests and giveaways. Everybody loves a good giveaway and a contest, and we moved a lot of people to do a lot of things by having these contests and giveaways. The next one is related to content-rich strategies using AI, our email and funnels, paid advertisement, live schedule and engagement, as well as, of course, our special guest. And so in terms of PR strategies, I remember just a second ago, Andy was talking about that we had to make a choice, right? That, what did you say, your mom always wanted you had to pick this candy or that candy, right? I thought the same thing in terms of PR strategies. So I have been working with a regular person that I've been working with for a number of years, our publicist. But then I was introduced to another publicist that had a completely different network. And I was scared. I was like, how am I going to be able to choose between one or the other? So I ended up talking to one of them, and they actually said, hey, because our networks are different, there's no conflict. So we had 2 publicists work on this event with us. And resulted in 5 different media spotlights, including Fox 5, Living Local, Voice of America, and a bunch of others that turned out to be really amazing for us. That also, because it was virtual, we had a mix of local and national publicity. And we spent a lot of time putting together an event list of different places that you can publish your events. Usually they're online places that's for us in DC, it's like East City Arts. They're just, how would you call it? Like online listings, and they're free to do it. And so we would put our event on maybe 50 to 75 different places so that people could find us through the normal media that they end up looking at anyway. the other thing that we did is once we had all this PR and we were inside doing Fox 5, we repurposed a lot of that content. So not only were we showing our social media, we were using that content inside of our emails, we did it inside of our Facebook ads, and so suddenly one thing, a Fox 5 interview was now inside of our email list and those sorts of things. So people were able to look inside of the work that we were doing and realize like, the news is paying attention to this and I should too. And so here are the couple of the interviews. This is Living Local DMV. This is Voice of America, the red carpet segment. And this is the Washington Informer. It's a Black-owned newspaper in the DC area that we were doing a live streaming with. And so the mix, this is my favorite part, our contests and giveaways. And for us, we have 4 main goals for our contest. And one of the first things that we want to do once they register is to become a VIP. And so one of the confirmation emails that they get this badge. I got my VIP ticket, and automatically they know that if they post that badge inside of our Facebook group, that they have a chance to win a gift card from us. So we have a flood of people putting this inside. So what does that do inside of our Facebook group? It encourages other people to register and to upgrade, because then it's a thing of fear of missing out, right? The next thing was our conference box promotion. Now, some of you all may know I'm doing this little trip with Jay from Maximum Impact Travel. I had no idea, we had no idea that so many people want to travel to Africa with us to learn about textiles. So we opened up our registration last year, and people kept on registering, until we have 107 people coming to Ghana with us. and really in 2 months, right? So I called Jay and said, hey, Jay, I want to promote this thing even more. I don't know why I want to do that. I said, okay, we can have 112 people coming on the trip. And so what we decided to do was to give away a free trip to Ghana. And the way they got into this giveaway is by purchasing our conference box. And so that catapulted our sales of our conference box way up. We did close to $50,000 just in that conference box. And most of it was encouraged by the trip to Ghana. We also, now this part I do not recommend, okay? So what I'm telling you next, do not do it, all right? We moved into our new facility on August, I want to say 25th of last year, all right? We had our virtual conference September 8th through the 10th of last year. Y'all see what is happening? All right, we had 2 weeks. We moved, 2 weeks later was a conference, all right? So not only did I have the logistics of moving my whole company and doing a conference, I also had the issue of how to market this at the same time, all right? Because we weren't just moving and that was it. No, this is a community move. And because of that, I talked with my community and I asked them to help support this move. And we raised $100,000 through our community to support our move. Thank you. And so one of the ways in which we did that was a special $500 platinum box. So that same box that they were going to get for $200, a lot of people had supported us at $500. They were able to get an extra ticket to that Ghana trip, as well as get some swag and their placement in their name in our new facility. And so between those two, that was about $70,000 just from the box sales that came into for the conference. Another goal for contests and giveaways was to get people engaged and excited inside of our Facebook group. And so we had a relationship with Travel Booth. Is Antonio in the audience somewhere? He's not here? Okay. So we partnered with Antonio. He put together this photo booth for us. It's a virtual photo booth. You basically had to click on the link. Our members were able to take their picture inside of this photo booth and post it inside of our Facebook group. And so that actually also increased some engagement. It allowed them to get in front of the camera, post it inside of our Facebook group. The other thing that we did was to have daily homework. So they had to post their homework inside of the Facebook group as well. And so that kept up engagement inside of our Facebook group. And the last and very least is that we encourage people to attend our event live during our conference. And so the way we did that is just having prizes for people who actually attended. And at the end, they were able to win things like, I think we had like an Apple Watch and gift cards and that sort of thing. And so I did not have to go far to find our giveaway sponsors. You all may recognize some of these brands here. We had Curl Mix, Maximum Impact Travel, Fitness is Not a Game, my own studio-sponsored travel booth, and another one of our instructors, Nikki, Sewing with My Style. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on content-rich strategies because we've had 2 sessions about AI, but I want you all to know is if you're writing all your content from scratch, don't do it. Don't do it, don't do it. You can use AI, just like Alicia was talking about yesterday, to help you write your email content, to help you write your social media posts, to help you write the scripts for your videos, for your paid ads, and that sort of thing. And we also allowed us to create more content so that we can be more efficient and be able to personalize our message to our different audiences. And so I hope Ryan is in the room. Well, okay, all right. So we got the funnel doctor here, right? The funnel doctor himself. So back in 2021, when I first joined the mastermind community, one of the first things I did was to work with Ryan to build our funnel. And so we've been running this funnel. This is our 5th time running this funnel. And I want to say that it's probably been one of the best investments that I've had because each and every time we do it, I think the only complaint I had with Ryan was my first time we had 14,000 people run through that funnel. And I was like, I was green. I had just learned what a funnel was, and then I had 14,000 people run through it, and I was just like, now what I do? So as I learned, over the years, I was like, well, what makes this funnel so great? And so what I found was the first thing, as soon as you get on that page, you have this lovely woman there telling you about the conference, letting them know what the projects are, what they're going to do. Right there at the top, you have register for free. There's no confusion. You click that button, you know right away that you are coming to a free conference and you don't have to worry about anything else. The next thing, after they click that register for free, they get a pop-up registration. I'm not asking for a whole lot of stuff. It's your name, your email address, and I actually have optional for their phone number. All right, so if you're doing this, don't ask for 20 different things at that point because really what you want is their email address. The next thing we have are just things to vet us. We have the testimonials, instructor bios, our conference schedule, our project list, FAQs, and again, everything on this page is free, okay? It doesn't say anything. I'm not trying to upsell them or no VIP tickets. I'm not trying to get them to buy a box. I just want their email address on this first page. And so then once they give us our email address, I have 2 more things that I'd like them to do. One is to get my first upsell, which is $27 for our VIP ticket. And that includes a lot of digital products. So they're able to, with their VIP ticket, they're able to access additional classes. And then with our upsell number 2, I've already talked about our conference box. This is somebody who posted their conference box that they just got, and it's at $199. So we have them going through 2 different pages. The first one, again, is for the VIP ticket. Once they click yes and they want to do that, then it goes to the upsell number 2, which is the conference box. The next section we talked about is paid advertisement. And these are the different things that I track, the different KPIs that I track for our paid advertisement, which is total ad spend, number of registrations, the ROA, the revenue generated, our cost per registration, our budget per day, as well as the number of upsells sold. So I track these both daily and then weekly. I come together with my team to make sure that we are on track for our goals for this particular conference. And so for ours, this is what we did. We spent $8,700 in total ad spend that brought in 9,300 registrants. Our return on ad spend was 4.49x, which generated $39,000 in revenue. Our cost per registration was 94 cents, and we had a budget of about $200 per day. So our best performing ad actually brought in 98% of our registrations. All right, so I remember when I first did our first conference, I think I had one or two creatives, and then I realized that I needed some more options. So I usually do anywhere between 5 or 10 different creatives that I put into Facebook, and then Facebook kind of differentiates which one is going to show most of our customers. And so I'm just going to play this ad just so y'all can see quickly what it looked like. I know, that's my husband, y'all. Nothing to do with sewing. And what I want you all to realize is that what people were attracted to inside this ad, he's going to be so upset that his face is still up there like that. But it had nothing to do with sewing, you know? Like, it was really about people's energy, what they were going to feel while they were inside of the conference. And there was like 1 or 2 shots about sewing, but it was just the excitement that really got people attracted to this particular ad. It was only 16 seconds. It was vertical in orientation. We had a clear message and call to action. The edits were quick, that really got them excited about doing and registering for our conference. All right, y'all, we are very committed to our live schedule. Everybody knows that we are live at 5, generally Tuesday through Friday every week, all right? Anybody have a consistent live schedule? Yes. I need to see more of those hands up, okay? Because that's how we've been able to build our community and get them excited about being a part of it. And quite frankly, okay, he's not in the room. My avatar is named Gladys, y'all. She is also, an older Black woman, right? She watched Wheel of Fortune for a number of years, right? And she's excited to see us come on. We are her evening entertainment, okay? So we play into that, and we're live generally between 3 to 4 times a week. And so we launched our conference on July 13th. And every day from that point on, we did game shows, we did conference prep, we did giveaways, we did conference box unboxing, we did instructor chats, just having talks with the various instructors. We did our special guest announcement. So we didn't just come on one day and say, hey y'all, Felicia Rashad gonna be at the conference. No, we made a very, very big deal where we were counting down the day until we were gonna announce who is going to be our special guest. And so by the time we actually announced it, they were all in, ready to attend, ready to purchase their kits, and ready to be a part of our conference. And so by the time we announced Felicia Rashad, we had captivated our audience, and they were ready to experience what we had to do. But what did that actually do? How did that actually help us having Felicia Rashad at our conference? One is it increased excitement. People were very excited to be a part, and they wanted to be able to experience, why is Felicia Rashad coming to a sewing conference? And so the way that I connected to it is that we are the culture keepers of sewing and quilting. And when you look at someone like Felicia Rashad, she's a culture keeper, and she's been one my entire life. And so to have somebody else that acknowledged the importance of being a culture keeper and having that conversation with her, and the fact that she's the dean at Howard right now, and she's passing on that knowledge to another generation. She was the perfect person and perfectly aligned with what we were doing with our conference. It also helped to book more press. And at first, some of our publicists were asking, you think you can have Felicia Rashad come and do press with you? I was like, I don't know, I'll text. I texted her. Yeah, I got her phone number, y'all. This is my cell phone. and so I texted her, and she's like, no, I'm out of town. I can't do it. But the media was still excited to have us talk about it, even though she wasn't going to be attending some of the bookings that we had. It also encouraged people to attend the event, and it also elevated the level of our conference. So the next time that I go to somebody that I want to do a fireside chat with, I'm going to be like, hey, last one we did with Felicia Rashad, would you like to be a speaker at our event? It'll just make it so much easier for these upcoming conferences that we have. All right, so I'm going to show you all the proposal that I submitted to her, as well as a short snippet of the actual interview that I did.
So Creative Lounge is a sewing school and fabric store located in Mount Rainier, Maryland. We created this space as a way to celebrate and preserve our culture through sewing and quilting. Each year, we bring together thousands of sewers and quilters from all over the country. Together, we craft an ever-growing community of devoted culture keepers dedicated to preserving the essence of our traditions.
We had no idea that this little thing, a needle and some thread, had the ability to connect so many people. Yes. It got people through COVID. It gets people through grief, yes, through so many different things.
The So Creative community has given me more than I could have ever imagined.
The bigger context is that we need the community part. We need to build confidence. We need to have creativity in our lives. And we wanted to bring somebody to our space that can inspire all of these things. And the first person that came up was Felicia Rashad. Felicia Rashad, you are a culture keeper, and you've been one for my entire life. I am so thankful for your shining example and for you inspiring us to build this community together.
I'd like to welcome Mrs. Rashad.
Thank you.
I want to start off first with, I came to your office and presented you with this gift, this quilt, as a way to submit a proposal to you to see if you'd be interested in coming to speak with us. And within 2 seconds of you seeing that quilt, you had an overwhelming response to it. Can you talk about why you, what that feeling was and that sort of thing?
Well, first of all, it's a master work. Just from an artistic point of view, it is a master work. I'd never seen quilts like that before. Crazy quilts. Yes. That was the star pattern. And then there were quilts that were just like the stories we tell.
Yeah.
So when I saw this quilt, the stories we tell, I recognized what it was immediately. It was a gift from you, yes, and it felt like a blessing as well to receive it.
Yeah.
Yes, so I mean, what was I going to do but say, yes, I'm coming?
What did it mean for you to come back to Howard as dean after graduating from there?
This is a service for me to perform at this time. This is a service because if in being here, if I can elevate people's understanding of what the arts are and how important they are, and of the academic disciplines that are inherent in the arts, so that no longer will they be swept to the side or devalued, but really understood for how important they are to humanity, then I'm going to go do that. And I've enjoyed being at Howard as a dean.
I still can't believe that that moment actually happened. And the fact that the first person that I did a fireside chat with was Felicia Rashad. Like who does that? So I first want to say is pitch your vision high, all right? Don't limit yourself to who's actually in your immediate network. If you're looking for somebody to do a fireside chat, to have a guest with, pitch high. All they can do is say no. And as you can see just from this video, she was like, what was I supposed to do? I had to do it just from that moment. And so I want to talk a little bit about the process of us actually getting to her saying yes. You all did see the video, right? So we did this video for her. But I also wanted to present her with something that we had made. And so what I did was I asked a few of our members, my mother did one of those blocks, as well as some of our instructors to come together, and we did 6 blocks that we put together. And the prompt that I gave them was like, why is it important for us to tell our stories? So now I had this video, y'all, and then I had this quilt. My next thing was for me to be able to go and to talk to her and ask her to do this. So I didn't have a meeting with her. I knew where she worked. I had a meeting with a professor at Howard University, and afterwards, I just kind of slid into her office space like this, and I sat down. The assistant dean, who I do know, saw me and said, hey, how's it going, that sort of thing. I was like, well, I have this gift I want to give to the dean. Do you think she could possibly, talk to me? She was like, oh, she should be done. She's talking to a student right now. So I'm sitting there, and I had to go to the bathroom. But in my mind, I said, if I get up and go to the bathroom, she's going to go to lunch. She's going to go talk to another teacher, something. I said, I am not missing this chance. So I sit there 5, 10, 15 minutes like, oh, yeah, I got to wait, but it's okay. I'm going to wait until she gets here. And so as I'm sitting there listening to her, she's talking to a student, and the student was discouraged. And she's telling her, that she needs to make sure she keeps going, that she should continue in her path, listen to her heart, and that sort of thing. And made me rewind to all those moments of her as Claire Huxtable, right? Because I'm Rudy, y'all. If y'all don't know, I'm Rudy. And Claire Huxtable, that is my mother. That's who I grew up in my household with. And so it was that moment that really just made me really excited to be there and to be really honored to have her, even to give her this gift. So she finishes her meeting with her student. The assistant dean gives her the gift inside of the box. And I'm standing outside of her office, and she opens it up, and she is absolutely amazed. She's like, oh my God, like she looks at it over and over again, and then she's like, well, Cecily, who made it, is right outside the door. And that was my entry point for her to say yes. That gift, that creative connection between me and her and the people who actually made it, that was my opportunity, her opportunity for us to actually say yes to us. And so when I'm telling you all this is because sometimes you may think just the physical proposal on paper is the best way to approach someone. But for us, and being in the arts, the best thing to do was to present some art, because that's her spirit animal, right? And so I'm hoping that I've sparked some kind of creativity in your mind by showing you all that. All right, so this is the dry part of the presentation, okay? Because we use a ton of systems inside of our conference and inside of our business. And so I wanted to give you all at least just a few of them that we use. One is Klaviyo, that does our email marketing. We use ClickFunnels for all of our funnels. We use ManyChat, which does our automation. So if I'm on live a lot, and I may say, hey, if you want to learn more about our conference, write conference in the chat, and then they'll get automations on the link inside of their DMs in order to get it registered. Asana. The important thing about Asana is that you gotta have some project management. You gotta have deadlines and dates. And so when I first got into the mastermind, I downloaded a template that Ronnie had developed and had a laundry list of things I needed to do in order to do an online conference or challenge. I used that as my marching orders. I put that inside of Asana. I assigned team members to it. I assigned deadlines. And to this day, we have made some changes to it, but that's a good place for you to start if you're thinking about doing an online challenge or conference. We use Recharge for our membership payments. We use Thinkific for our online courses, and we use Shopify for our online store. And I have a lot more systems. I was like, this is gonna be a big slide, so if y'all have questions about systems, I'd be happy to answer those as well. And so, I wanted to bring this up because we did break 6 figures with the encouragement of Lamar. And so the breakdown was $21,000 in VIP sales. We sold 301 boxes for a grand total of $49,500 just on our conference boxes. Our platinum boxes, which supported our move, brought in an additional $19,000. And this part was really surprising, and I highlighted it too, because our conference tee, which just had that logo on it, brought in an additional $6,100. And that was surprising to me because typically we only sell about 50 t-shirts, but because we both raised our price and then we spent a little bit more time on the graphic, it brought in additional funds as well. And then we brought in 62 new members, and that brought in about additional $4,000. So altogether, we brought in $100,968 during that conference. All right, so I made a few mistakes along the way, not just inside of planning for this conference, but also just from the beginning of when I started doing these conferences. And so for some reason, I thought somebody said, open up a new Facebook group every time you do a conference or a challenge. I thought somebody said it. So by the time I was doing all these conferences, I had like 6, 7 different Facebook groups. Don't do it. Don't do it, okay? Right now, I had to close a bunch of those groups, and now I just have one free group for all of we call it the Sewing Lounge, and then we have one paid group for our membership, all right? So don't try to have too many groups to manage. I relied too much on Facebook ads. At the beginning, we did our first conference in 2021, and I got spoiled, all right? So I opened it up. We had 14,000 people run through that funnel, mostly from Facebook ads. But that was an anomaly because at that time, everybody was still at home. It was 2021, right? And so I had to get more creative between 2022 and 2023 as people started going outside, started doing more things. And that's why I had all those different marketing, what's the word I'm looking for? My pregnancy brain's coming to marketing strategies. Thank you. All these different marketing strategies I had to do in order to make sure that those numbers still stay strong. Last year, I decided to try something new. For a while, I had our VIP tickets at $47. Then I was like, maybe I can push it up to $97. I went up to $97. It was like crickets out there. And I decided maybe like a week out before that conference actually happened, and I was like, forget it. Those VIP tickets are gone. I'm just selling replays, and I sold them for $27. And what I realized was that $97 price point for the VIP ticket was too expensive, that people that are just going from learning about me from a 16-second ad is not willing to spend $100 with me. So I dropped the price far, went to $27, and that's how we were able to get a lot of people to upgrade to VIP. Scattered messaging. Now, I talked about how I have 1 million lives all over the week and that sort of thing, but what I wasn't doing is once I launched, I wasn't being consistent in getting people to register for the conference. So I would have a game show, but the game show was just like Deal or No Deal. I would just do this Deal or No Deal live, but I wasn't connecting it back to what I wanted them to do at this point. So making sure that everything you're doing, whether it's with email or lives, is consistent to what you want them to do at that point in time. For a while, I wasn't building out my automated emails. I was just sending out a bunch of campaigns. But at this point, 5 conferences in, I have a series of emails that once I launch, people who register get those series of emails. People that upgrade to VIP get a series of emails. People that have got their conference boxes have a series of emails. And so it's really important that you use AI and get all of those emails up and scheduled before you even launch your campaign so that you're not, being scattered and missing out on opportunities. I talked about the fact that I thought that virtual conferences were going away. They're here to stay. I didn't have enough partnerships at the beginning, meaning that I didn't have, and I still don't have a good referral program. That's one of the things that I'm going to be working on this year. And then I also talked about not having enough ad creatives. All right, so with that being said, if you all have any questions, one of us up here is going to answer them for you, and I thank you all so much for your time. Thank you. All right.
Hi, I am Tamika. I save the world from boring training and some other things. One of the things that I've fallen into doing is partnering with business owners who are doing virtual training or virtual conferences, and I've fallen into being like webinar or virtual producer, if you will. Did you find that to be helpful in the creation of your virtual conference?
To connect with other people?
No, to have a producer to support you behind the scenes with your virtual conference? Or did you have one?
No, I had my husband who learned all of the software like eCam. Don't ask me what all these things are. So he ran like the live stream part.
Gotcha.
I did, like the promotions and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And then I had all of the instructors who taught their classes. And so I didn't bring in any producer of sorts. Quite frankly, at the beginning, I wasn't sure how much money this was going to bring. And so I didn't want to have a big investment in having an additional person when I could just use my family and use the people that are already inside of my network.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the presentation. My name is Akeisha Johnson of An Inspired Story. I'm a business leadership coach who empowers professionals to be the kind of boss other people want to work for. My safe space to talk about race workshop really empowers people with the tools and the practice to talk about race and diversity in professional settings. So you said that you did 5 different events before this last one where you had Dr. or Dean Rashad. I'm curious, what was it that, can you just kind of walk us through what it took to get to the first conference? Because I'm trying to figure out getting to the first event, and there's so many things going through my mind. So can you just walk us through what is it that got you to that first conference, and who did you talk to put that together?
I talked a little bit about it. I literally joined Mastermind in June, and then I did my first event or first conference in September. So what did I do? As soon as I got into Mastermind, I downloaded Ronnie's template, and it basically gave me an outline of what I needed to do. Then I called Ryan and said, hey, he was mad, y'all, because I was like, I think I called him like maybe 3 weeks. Stop playing. It was maybe 2 weeks before I wanted to launch it, right? And so I was like, hey, can we do this kind of fast? And so those 2 pieces between working with somebody who could develop my funnel and having like a marching orders of all the things that I needed to do, I just followed the template and prayed and hoped for the best, and it worked. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Lauren Rainey, a yoga meditation teacher and a social media influencer who helps change makers and thought leaders master their mindset so they can deepen their creativity and connections. And so I remember at TSP Live in June where you talked about how you and Jay Cameron partnered for your trip, and that it was a it was a partnership that was like you both had really good plans behind your purpose for going there to Ghana. Can you talk about how the partnerships that you've made with also like Crystal Taylor, how they were, how you came up with the partnerships since you have such different niches?
So I think what we look at the end whenever we're doing partnerships or ever somebody approaches is who my audience is. So for me, it's an older Black woman, and so when anybody that wants to work with me, they're likely to have that same person as their target market as well. So that's kind of the first criteria. For me, what I'm looking at is like, what do my members want, right? So I've partnered with Coach Cass, with the Love workshop. We've partnered with Crystal to do fitness because we want to get our ladies up and moving. With Jay, we were like, look, let's see. What I did was I actually went to Burundi, which is where my husband is from, and when I went live that next time when I got back, I said, hey, y'all want to go to Africa with me? And it was like a flood of comments. I was like, oh, shoot, these people want to go to Africa with me. And so, of course, the first person I asked was Jay, like, hey, let's do this. He's like, hey, let's do it. We put it out there, and it kind of went from there. So I think the first thing is just really looking at your audiences. If those overlap, then you may have some possibility of working together with somebody.
Okay, cool, thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Deborah Owens, founder and CEO of Wealthy You, where we teach first-generation high-earning women of color how to keep more of what they earn, grow it, and retire early. My question to you is, I'm fascinated with these conference boxes. It seemed to be, if I looked at those numbers correctly, one of your highest, the highest line item. Do they sell because it's part of the conference experience, or I'm interested in how do you distribute those? Does somebody do that for you, or does someone internally help you distribute those?
Yeah, so we cut all of those fabrics ourselves that's inside the box. We develop our own patterns for the conference ourselves. All the sewing notions we put inside of the box. So it's internal. It's a stressor inside of our organization. So if you can outsource it, you may want to if you don't have team to support that sort of thing. Because it was 300 boxes. And it's not just those boxes. We also have our outside orders that people are just buying fabric and that sort of thing. So it definitely was an undertaking, but worth it because people who want to experience the conference to its fullest, they're going to need the patterns, they're going to need the fabric, they're going to need all those things inside the box in order to do so. And so a lot of times people ask if we could just sell it bit by bit like a pattern separately. For the conference, we just put all of that stuff inside, and sometimes after the conference we'll do one-off patterns, but we really encourage them just to get that box. And the only way for them to participate in the conference is really by having to purchase the box.
And then lastly, is it profitable? I mean, what's your margin on that? Is it all the shipping, is it still worth it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I don't go over a cost of goods sold of about 40%. And I think that box that we did is between 35 and 40%.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Boom.
Hey.
Hey. All right, let me stop recording. All right. Hey, family, I'm Coach Cass, Love Coach for Professional Women. So, Cecily, you talked about going live like 3 to 4 times a week. Many people would rather die than do that. So my question is, My question is it you every time that's going live? And you said something about AI, but can you tell us a little bit of the process of these so many lives, especially when, eyelashes, all the things, we judge ourselves on how we look to go live. So can you talk about it?
First of all, I don't put on makeup hardly at all, okay, y'all? So I have it on today, but generally if I'm going live in my studio, I'm not worried about no lipstick or nothing. I will tell you this one story, because that's an excuse, first of all. That's an excuse, all right? So if you think you got to be all glammed up to go live, it doesn't matter. You all heard also, Cassandra goes live in her bathrobe.
Yeah.
Right? She's engaging her audience. I'm engaging my audience as I am, okay? I do have team, right? So I do have some of my instructors do sewing classes live. We do mixing my style with one of my studio managers. She loves mixing prints and mixing fabrics. We kind of spread out. We have Quiltaholic Friday, Fabriholic Friday, and literally I'm like Vanna White, like showing my fabric, like, look, y'all see that? And they love it. So all that to say is that I don't think you have to be perfect when you go live. I think it's just about being consistent and giving valuable information. The other thing that I say is that you want to do some sales type lives and you want to do some like content and information type lives. So you're not always going live and saying bye, that you're also giving feedback and spreading information as well.
So then there's also a belief that if I go live and tell all my information, why would they buy, right? Because you have a membership that people can join. So would you say that you cover the same stuff or is it different?
I mean, for my field, there's always going to be something else to make. So whether I show you how to make this dress on this live and then I go behind my membership portal and post another dress, there's always going to be something else that you can spread your information about. So I don't think there's a limit for me. I don't think there's a limit for the work that you do as well. You want to put information out there and then say, hey, if you want to learn more, come join me doing the X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Last question.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Joy Tribble, and I'm the creator and founder of the first 5K run walk for plus size women in North America. It's called the Plus Strut. Oh, thanks. That's nice. Thanks. We're affectionately known the curviest 5K on the planet. Y'all, thank you. Baby, you got a tissue. My question is, we have a low ticket offer and a low ticket offer.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain.
Okay.
The running space, the industry doesn't dictate high ticket cost for registrations. And me being a plus size woman, being in that industry, oftentimes being marginalized, we're charged more. And so I want to be mindful about that we're not taking advantage of this woman price-wise, but also as a business owner, we need to grow and scale. So I'm curious to know, when your industry doesn't dictate a certain price point, how do you live in the duality of mindfulness of price, but girl, this is overpriced because the industry doesn't speak to that?
I mean, for me, I changed my prices multiple times. So I started at a price. I had no idea if it was right. It was $47. I thought it was great. And then the next time I talked about it, I increased it to $97 to see if I could get more sales from there. That did not work. And then I went back down to $27. So I would just say start with the price that's in your gut. Like, okay, this is a good price, let me see. And then you test it. Okay. You change the price, you change, various things, and you test it again. But you can't make those final decisions if you don't have any data to go along with it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, thank you all so much.